Oftentimes, you'll hear atheists claim that if God existed, there would certainly be no evil such as massacres, wars, child abuse, cancer, and what have you. Now, the problem of evil is a serious and complex one, and I will certainly not be able to cover all its aspects in one single video.
What you just heard is the only part of the problem of evil he covers in this entire video. The rest is just an ignorant and derisive ramble against atheists. Let's do this.
Round 1, fight!
Delusion!
Logic boo! Logic boo!
You win!
Greetings, fellow space travelers, BionicDance here. I've responded to Deflate before, and honestly, I'm beginning to suspect that he's either a troll or a Poe, because it's hard to imagine someone getting so much so wrong. Oh, I know people have done it, but this snark-ass attitude of his makes me think he doesn't really mean it. But maybe I'm wrong, which, honestly, is worse, and he truly is ignorant. Now, before anybody is triggered by that word, let me clarify. I mean it not as an insult, but in the literal sense. There is information he either doesn't have or is deliberately ignoring, and you'll note that ignorant and ignore come from the same root. And so, intended insult or not, the word definitely applies here.
But the one thing you will learn in this video is why it is the height of inconsistency for an atheist to even talk about the problem of evil. That's because, on the assumption of atheism, the notion that there is a dichotomy between good and evil is as delusional as the notion that green unicorns and pink dragons race against each other around planet Earth.
First of all, the problem of evil is a thought experiment that grants Christian principles for the sake of argument as a hypothetical in order to show its inconsistency. It actually has very little at all to do with what atheists believe. Here is the problem of evil. The Bible claims that God is all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-loving. The triple omni, it's often called: omnipotent, omniscient, and omnibenevolent. A being which can know all, who cares no matter what, and who has the power to effect change, would be able to see evil, would want to stop it, and would have the ability to stop it. And yet we see plenty of suffering in the world that such a God would have stopped if he both existed and existed as a triple omni deity. And yet such suffering exists, which means that the God described in the Bible, at least, doesn't exist. If God had been just a little bit flawed, be it indifference, unknowing, and or not all-powerful, the problem of evil goes away entirely, totally a non-issue. It's God's alleged perfection that makes the problem of evil, well, a problem. This is why I think he might be a troll or a Poe, because to get the problem of evil as wrong as he does smells a little fishy.
So let's start with a couple of basics. On atheism, we are just one among the many thousands of species which evolved from that one common ancestor cell which crawled out of the prebiotic soup some 4 billion years ago.
Theists do so love to think that evolution and atheism walk hand in hand, don't they? And yet it's possible for someone to not believe in any gods and either have never heard of evolution or even not believe in it. Take it from a lifelong sci-fi fantasy fan. Magic, the supernatural, doesn't depend on the existence of a deity, and plenty of humans genuinely believe in paranormal things without including a god in the mix.
That is, just like snails, rats, sharks, and butterflies, we fight for survival as described by Darwin's beautiful theory of evolution.
You realize Darwin got things wrong, was incomplete, and we've since built upon what he did and shored up some of the gaps in our own understanding, right? On the Origin of Species was published in 1859, and if you think we haven't updated our understanding of natural selection since then, frankly, you don't understand how science works. And trying to paint Darwin as some sort of atheist pope is just foolish. Most atheists are skeptics and apistivists, meaning we question our assumptions and the claims of others, and that we don't use faith to come to conclusions. If Darwin was full of poo, we'd want to know it and to correct our understanding, unlike Christians who've been following the same book for thousands of years and claim that it's inerrant. Don't go acting as if atheism is just godless Christianity. We're not like you, only different. We're our own thing entirely.
Now, of course, somewhere along the way, we miraculously picked up a mind, language, the capacity to create art, literature, and music, but never mind, we're just another species more or less on par with guinea pigs, mushrooms, and chimpanzees.
Are you kidding? No, really. Are you kidding? He makes it sound as if having greater intelligence happened all at once. Poof, like magic, rather than taking literally 1.5 to 2.5 million years just for humans, never mind the hundreds of millions of years it took for life to get to the beginning of genus Homo. And just because we're animals doesn't mean we're on par with any other species, just as they're not on par with us. Animal is a biological designation to distinguish ourselves from plants or fungi. This notion that humans are somehow above animals is pride or hubris. We are animals, and if you don't like that, tough. If the word animal has connotations you don't like, tough. Facts don't care about your feelings.
What is interesting is that atheists usually don't complain about there being a problem of evil in the animal kingdom. I mean, I have never heard anyone talking about humpback whales committing atrocities when swallowing tons of krill.
That's because the problem of evil has not a damn thing to do with that at all. The problem of evil is about the apparent indifference to suffering by the alleged triple omni-god of Christianity, and how that inconsistency casts doubt upon the existence of said god. Like I said, Deflate gets the problem of evil so very, very wrong.
Now here's the rub. Atheists claim that we are just another kind of animal, fighting for survival.
As opposed to what? Even if a god magically built us, we're still flesh and bone. You know, animals. If we ever meet aliens who are smarter than us, chances are pretty good they'll be animals too, barring sentient robots or plants or something. Yes, I watch and read so very much sci-fi. And frankly, I hope you do too. It's so much fun. So what else could we be if not animals? What else do we need to be to make Deflate here happy?
However, when apes in the jungle kill babies and force themselves on their females, atheists are happy to put this into the magic trunk of Darwin's evolution, as their never-questioned dogma which supposedly explains everything.
If you've been in the YouTube atheism scene as long as I have, about 12 or 13 years actually, you might remember a guy called Edward Current. At first glance he seemed like a goody-goody, clean-cut Ned Flanders type, but he was just playing a role in order to take the piss out of Christians. And every now and then I'll get a comment from a viewer saying something like, "Sorry Kate, I couldn't watch past 30 seconds. That guy was too stupid." I had intended to reply to all of his video, but there's still 8 minutes left and I'm prepared to call it. This guy is a Poe and a troll, the new Edward Current. And the stupid really burns. But it's not just what he's saying that's so ignorant, it's the way he says it. I think he's trying to make over-the-top apologetics look silly and stupid, and if I'm right, then responding to the rest of his video is pointless and would mean I'd fallen for his joke. Either way, link in the description if you want to watch the rest of it, but I'm out. I have an animation to work on and some Zelda to play. So, until next time, fellow space traveler, you know what? Nah, this guy doesn't deserve the full tagline. Just stay safe for me, gang, alright? Later. Whoops, I tell a lie, the video's not over yet. While I was editing that last clip, dude knocks on my door, turns out it's Amazon, and I got me an unboxing to do. I checked the tracking number, and this is not from my wish list, it's something I ordered, and I guarantee it's not the giant box of cat food, so what the heck, let's open it on camera anyway. So what have we got? Screen protector for my Nintendo Switch, and a screen magnifier for my Nintendo Switch. Because everybody is bored during lockdown, handheld gaming systems have become awfully difficult to find, unfortunately. But thankfully, my good buddy Tom is in the Navy, and he was able to snag one from the, PX commissary? I don't friggin' know, I'm not in the military, but they had them available for soldiers, and he snagged me one. So why did I want a handheld gaming system? Because I'm not getting out enough. Most of my usual avenues for going outside and doing things require not social distancing, like taking a bus or an Uber or Lyft to the rollerblading track, for example. I meant to say bike path, but screw it, I'm unscripted right now. I needed a good excuse to go outside that was more than just walking around, so I figured why not find a bench somewhere and play games. Now what I didn't count on and should have is that this tiny-ass screen is not bright enough when the sun's out. At least, not during the nighttime scenes in this Zelda game. That's why I wanted the screen magnifier, because maybe it'll be easier to see, at least if it's bigger. Now I do only have the one game so far, so I couldn't exactly swap it out for one that's generally brighter. I mean, this is a honker of a game. It took me nearly a week just to get to the first boss, never mind defeat him. So I'm okay game-wise. I just needed it to be more visible, thus, again, the screen magnifier. And of course the screen protectors, cause, hey. Okay, now the video's over. See you later, gang. And don't be a jerk. Wear a mask, okay? If we ever met aliens that are smarter than us, chances are pretty good they'll be aliens. Aliens? Animals, too. And this is why I think he might be a troll or a Poe, because to get the problem of evil because to get the problem of evil as wrong as he does, smells a little fishy. Oopsie. Maybe this is a bad affectation. We are animals. Attention
citizens. Failure to contribute will result in suspended oxygen privileges. Attention citizens. Failure to contribute will result in suspended oxygen privileges. Attention citizens.
Not rating and subscribing has been found to cause obesity, acne, and male pattern baldness in laboratory rats.